For the very first time, I'm training a dog absolutely live with cutting nothing out. And if you watch the video in its entirety, you'll see all the funny things that happens in reality with dog. It's literally every step of the way, which is why it's longer. So if you're interested in introducing a recall command to any dog, no matter what the circumstances are, the age or the breed of the dog, doesn't matter. This video is going to be for you. I go over all the things that dog owners make the mistakes on doing, and I go over the key things that you must be doing to expedite to make sure that you are successful at home. This was taken out of the Tom Davis Online Academy. We do monthly workshops live at my facility. Every single month is a different topic. If you guys are interested in joining the most affordable dog training program on the internet, you can do that by clicking the link below. You have all of my uncut videos that you see here on YouTube. You have access to my professional dog trainers at the Upstate Canine Academy. Of course, we're going live every single week talking about your goals and the things that you're struggling with and how I can help you, and the monthly workshops that are filmed live just like this one. All the information is linked below, and I hope to see you there. Enjoy the video. All right, everybody, welcome to the very first time ever in the Tom Davis Online Academy. We're doing live training right here at the Upstate Canine Academy. You guys may recognize this place from my YouTube videos and other social media sorts. So bear with us, be patient with us. This is the very first live we've ever done. We got Abby behind the computer. She's behind the cameras as always, and she's working hard at getting everybody in and making sure that everything runs smoothly. But like I said, this is the very first time we've ever done anything completely live with training. Of course, you guys have seen me live doing Q&As weekly in the Members Club and the Online Academy, but this is the very first time we're doing it live at the facility. So we have a bunch of other things that could happen. This is Allie. She's one of our board and trained. She's a golden retriever. And in this live, we're going to be going over the introduction of recall. So this is for anybody out there that is going to introduce recall, working on recall, want to do recall, or even really reestablish a good recall. And of course, after this, which is, I think, the fun part about this, is we're going to do a live Q&A with you guys after the training. So it's a very new system for us, and I think you guys are going to really benefit from this, because I know that I'm watching something, I have questions in real time, and you guys are going to be able to ask me these questions immediately following the training that we're going to be doing with Allie. I've never met this dog. I just grabbed her from the back. She's a very sweet board and train. She's newer to the facility. I'm not sure how many days she's been here, but I know that they haven't really worked on recall. So because she's a lab, she's probably going to be food motivated, so it's going to be easier to do. But the good thing is you guys are going to be able to see my process and how I do that. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You guys are going to see the process and how I do it, and of course, ask me questions. I would assume that the training is going to be 20, 30 minutes, and then we're going to go into our studio and then take questions in real time. So we're going to get right into it. I'm not going to be able to answer any questions until after, but I appreciate everybody showing up and being here on this Sunday. And again, this is the very first time we're doing this, so we'll see how it goes. So the first thing we want to go over is equipment. What do we need? What should we have? What are the things that are going to make this easier? Obviously, a dog that is comfortable and confident in the space. If you guys have a dog that comes out and is fearful and is checking into everything and may not be super confident in the space, or hesitant to engage, or hesitant to do anything, it's probably best for you to find a better environment to work in when you're introducing a new behavior. It's not impossible to teach a new behavior when a dog's in a fearful state or not confident. However, it is going to be challenging for your dog to pay attention, engage, or become motivated if they're thinking that their life is going to end at any moment because they're insecure. But if you have a stable dog, you have a comfortable dog, you have an engaged dog like this golden here, the only thing that you're really going to need to get started is motivation. And today we have the No Bad Dog Nubs treats. Motivation is really important with recall, because essentially we are asking the dog to come to us no matter what they're into. Rabbit poop, other dogs, snakes, squirrels, anything else. Abby, do you want to see? This is part of the live experience. The heat just turned on, but don't worry. Our production manager is really fast to the game here, shutting that heater off. But the first thing you guys need is definitely going to be motivation. You're going to be recalling the dog off of anything that they find interesting or not. But the reality is once you really want to use recall, or once you start using recall in reality, that's what's going to be happening. So we have our No Bad Dog treats. We have our long line. Some people use like a 30-foot long line. I have before. This is about a 20-foot long line. It's really beneficial to have a long line when you're doing this, especially when your dog is new to recall. this is going to be basically your training wheels as you let the dog further and further away. So we're going to go over the steps as we go. We have our basic training leash we're going to start off with. As far as collars go, Ellie has a plastic pinch collar, which is a Star Mark collar, which is a collar that gives action and communication. That's the collar she's been training on, and I don't want to I don't want to mess anything up that my trainers have already been doing. So we're going to stick with the collar on. You guys can use whatever collar that you're comfortable with, flat collar, prong collar. Just be mindful when you're using prong collars or collars that have action or could potentially correct, that you're really, really paying attention to what your dog is doing, because if they accidentally get caught on something when they're further away, it can unfairly, unwarranted correct them, and that's not cool. So we don't want to do that. So that's what we have for equipment. We have a long line. We have the No Bad Dog treat pouch with the built-in squeaker. You like that? And then we have the No Bad Dog beef liver nubs. So we're going to get started on the very first steps. And what I like to do is, it's an acronym of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So we have a dog right now. She's interested in other things, right? This is perfect, realistic recall. She's smelling all the other dogs. She's interested in the other people behind the camera. She's a golden. She's just a lover of life, and she wants to just go engage into everything. So what I'm going to do is just say her name and tell her to come. So the very first indicator to her is going to be her name. And then we're going to slowly or maybe even quickly get to the long line, depending on how fast the dog progresses. But you really want to, this is one mistake a lot of people make. Don't do this. Don't put your dog into she smells the treats. Yep, it's all over now, isn't it, sweet girl? Don't put your dog into a sit and then recall your dog. That is not a realistic recall off. That's never going to be realistic in life. You're never going to say, I need to be recalling my dog right now, and you turn around and they're sitting there perfectly waiting for you to call them. A realistic recall is when the dog is going to be doing things that she was doing earlier. She's out, she's sniffing, she's looking at things. That's where you want to start. So that's a big mistake people make. The other mistake people make is they're not prepared to reward the dog. When we use positive reinforcement, it is one of the most powerful things that we have in our dog training toolbox, for sure, hands down. There's no question to that. But if your timing is off, it's not going to make sense, and your training could then suffer from that. So I always tell people, have the food or have the motivation if you're using a ball loaded, right? So we're going to do that now. Treats loaded. We're going to say the dog's name. There's no pressure in the leash. Ellie, come. Yes, good. Now, a couple key points here, guys, is making sure that you are targeting the dog with your body and your voice inflection. So as I'm doing this, it's going to look like this. Come. Good, okay? How many times have you guys seen people, or even yourself, if you're guilty of this, of, dog, do this. And they're like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm not coming to that at all. You want to invite the dog to you, especially when you're teaching a new behavior. Now, to be completely transparent, I do not know if this dog has ever heard recall. I've known this dog for as long as you have here on the screen, which is about 5 minutes. So the idea of this live workshop is to go over the mistakes that people often make, and to go over the introduction to recall. We are going to do a recall course later in the year, or even earlier than that, to really go through outside, other dogs, dog parks, high distractions, pigeons, squirrels, deer, birds, lions, tigers, and bears. But this is the introduction to recall. So we're going to do that again. Break. So we're going to disengage from the dog. This is another mistake a lot of people do, is they sit here and they engage with the dog and they're like, yeah, I'm going to work on recall at some point today, but the dog's never going to leave you if you're still motivating to the dog. So try to disengage, as hard as it is with a golden retriever that wants to do other things. I have some secrets and some tips I'll show you guys to have a dog manually disengage from you in a moment. But let's just go back to some of the things that we were talking about Let's just go back to some of the things that we were talking about earlier, which is going to be making sure that you're targeting your dog. So please don't be boring. You're recalling your dog off a squirrel. You're recalling your dog off a deer. You're recalling a dog off an elk. However and wherever you guys are listening to this, it's going to change. Make sure you're inviting your dog in with your body, right? So come. Yes, good. So I like using these beef liver treats for these reasons, guys. Look, get yourself something that you can lure, you can target, right? You could do this just as easy with a ball or another piece of food. But I have my own treats for a reason. It's because it makes life a lot easier when you're training. So we're going to disengage the dog manually. And as you guys may have guessed, We're going to take the thing that the dog is obsessed with and get it away from us. Now, where's my cutoff, Abby? Where can I go? Perfect. All right. So we're going to do that again. We're going to disengage the dog. And again, if you guys are working on this at home and you're taking notes, look, Ellie, come. Yes, good. Where's my cutoff behind me? Okay. Do you want to grab those little things there and kind of mark it off so I don't continue to go off screen? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to do this again. We're going to throw the food out. This is also really good if you guys have a retractable leash. Retractable leash in the dog training world can be kind of an ick piece of tool, but it has tons of benefits if you use it right. We're just not going to use it every day. So good, she's distracted by Abby. Ellie, come. Yes, good. So we're going to talk about marking systems. So sometimes in my dog training seminars, especially the one I just did in Netherlands a couple months ago, the dog trainers in the room were completely perplexed why I didn't have a marker system with every single dog I trained. And marker systems, guys, are basically your reward system, your way to communicate with your dog at a very, very, very consistent pace of certain cues. So we have reward cues. We have, this dog's the perfect dog for this, actually. She's full-time hired. But my point is if you have a reward-based system, marker system, when you say yes to the dog, they basically are going to get paid. It's much like a clicker system. So the moment you say yes out of your mouth, the dog gets paid, indicating that the dog did the exact thing at that right moment. So you can mark in time what they did was correct. So you can then continue to get it, right? So we're going to let her out. Try to disengage as much as you can. She knows that I have the beef liver. It's yummy smelling stuff here. Off. Good. Okay, so we're going to do this again just manually. We're going to break over one of these pieces of beef liver treats. We're going to throw it on the ground, get the dog disengaged. You don't have to have the dog far away from you, right? We're going to say her name, tell her the behavior. Her name's Ellie, right? Is that what I said? Ellie, come. Good. Well, that's going to be her new name. I have so many dogs that I work with. Is this Ellie? Allie. That's what I thought. Okay, Allie. Like I said, Allie. So we're going to do this again. Your dog doesn't have to be Your dog doesn't have to be completely away from you. You just want the dog looking away from you. You don't want the dog completely engaged with you when you're doing recall. You can, but it's not as beneficial as if you get the dog away from you. So if you have maybe somebody else in the room or you have other distractions. Allie, come. Yes, good. You guys see how my timing was off there? I didn't have the food properly located right into the dog's face, and that's really what you want. Now, the other thing that people ask me all the time is, if you guys are familiar with recall, you might be familiar with the drive-by, which is very common for most pet dogs, which essentially means the dog is going to come to you, around you, or sort of to you. You really don't have a consistent recall. And that's really like it's not really advanced to the everyday dog trainer, but it's probably going to be advanced to the everyday dog owner, which means your dog comes and goes into a certain position. I'm going to go over exactly how to do that. But for right now, all I'm doing is I'm paying the dog in front of me. Ah, he's sneaky. She almost looks like one of those trolling Nova Scotia trolling duck dogs. She's got like these pretty colors. She kind of looks like a field golden. She's got super high drive off. Got to work on that off, but we're going to do this again. The other thing that you guys can do if you get a food hound like this one, this is what I have here for advanced stuff. And we're going to start the advanced stuff now because she's doing really well. And the advanced stuff is putting your long line on and getting the dog further away from you. So we talk about this all the time in dog training. If you guys watch my uncut videos here in the Online Academy, or you watch them on my YouTube channel, you're going to hear the 3 Ds of dog training: distance, distractions, and donuts. Kidding, duration. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move the dog away from it. So this is the distance. So she's probably off camera right now, but this is going to give your dog a more realistic recall. I know she's off camera for you guys here. So all I'm going to do is untangle this. Allie, come. Yes, good, come. Ooh, good. Very, very good. And here you can start working on all sorts of fancy stuff with the dog. Break. So as we're going through this, guys, I'm going to go over some advanced stuff and then some more basic stuff. Because to be honest with you guys, most people just want their dog to come to them, to leash them up and go home, or to leash them up and leave the park. But there's advanced steps here. You could also put your dog into a more of a front position where you would recall the dog. Allie, come. Yes, good. Right here. And then the other component to this, I would say, is very, very important is your release command, is your break command. So you're going to tag that in at the end of this. Okay, break. So the break command is your release command. That means go back to do whatever you want to do, have fun, go play with your friends. The recess command, if you will, the free command, if you will. The break command is going to be attached to any behavior you give your dog. If you ask your dog to sit, down, stay, heel, or place, it should then be followed by some sort of a release command so the dog knows that they're done doing the task that you asked them to do. So we're going to throw all this together, guys, and I'm going to run down really quick. Right now, we have the dog away from us, about 15 feet away from us on this 20-foot long line. She's going to be into something. I'm not going to recall her when she's looking at me. I'm not going to put her in a sit. I'm not going to ask her to come when she's directly looking at me. That's not realistic. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm letting her out. She's sniffing. She's being a dog. I'm going to say her name. My food is ready. Allie, come. Yes, targeting. Yes, good. Boom. She's getting paid right here. I can even add in a sit if she knows it. Yes, good. Break. And then you can break the dog away. So it's come here, sit down, and then now you're free, which is a great, like little, what I call a behavior sandwich there, right? So I'm doing all these different things and I'm making this sandwich. I ask her to come, I pay her, and then I break her, right? It's kind of like this bun in between everything. Yes, good job, baby. So she's doing really, really good. So this is the introduction to recall. Now, if you guys wanted to teach your dog how to sit when they got to you, I would suggest you could do it in training. You could do it in motion. You could do it in real time. It's just not as easy as if you taught your dog to target something and then bridge the sit target to then the recall command. What that would look like, I don't know, and this is kind of like the benefit of doing this live. Oh, we're pooping. Okay, can you give me a poop bag? I did bring her out and she didn't go, but she's gonna go now. This is the fun part of going live. All right, so we're going to do this again. I just want to go over a potential touchpad with you guys if you wanted to really target the recall, then bridge it to a touch so you can target where you want the dog to go. And all that would look like is you're going to use your food motivation and you're going to start luring over this touchpad. Abby, can they see the touchpad? Okay, cool. Yes, good touch. Yes, good touch. Good touch. Good touch. Touch. Yes, good touch. Goldens are super easy dogs to train. This may not be as easy for you guys. I can almost promise you this dog's never touched in her life. But what you guys are going to do if you want to advance your recall or really advance any position that you have with the dog, it doesn't matter if it's recall or if it's heel or anything. If you teach the dog how to touch, right, what the dog will do, they'll be inclined to get to this touchpad because this is where they get paid. And this dog's just a gem to work. I had a whole list of dogs back there that I could have grabbed, and I just grabbed the Golden to make me look better. Okay, break. Allie, touch. Yes, good touch. Good touch. Good. So this is a little bonus for you guys if you want to teach your dogs how to touch. I'll show you what this is. Break. You could probably see this on camera too a little bit better. All this is, or no, all this is it's a trough bowl that you can get at Tractor Supply or any type of agricultural livestock store. It's just a rubber bowl. They call it like a trough bowl for horses and livestock. And it's really nice when you're doing targeting. So this is a little, I guess, bonus for you guys. Touch. You just do a little lure. Once the dog gets onto the touch, yes, good touch. So I'm not going to teach the touchpad. That may be another month that we work on that because that's really, really helpful for competitive obedience to target a dog. Okay, break. But here's what I was going with this for people who want to advance that. Break. So we're going to send the dog away using our, what I call a manual send away. Off. You are a little jumpy girl. Off. Start correcting that off. I'm going to send the dog away with some food. Allie, come. Yes. So once the dog starts to target the touch, as you guys saw there, I didn't teach her how to touch. Break. I didn't teach her how to touch, but I touched her for 3 minutes right here. And when she recalled to me, I put the touchpad wherever I want the dog to be. So if some people will do a military heel, or they'll do a teardrop heel where the dog comes in and slides around, all you guys have to do, there's a ton of things that we can do on these live workshops, which is I'm really excited why we got into these. But basically you can target the dog. So if I wanted to teach the dog how to do like a military turnaround heel where the dog come, heel around you, boom, because the dog's targeting the touchpad. So that's one way you can get the dog to recall directly in front of you, is teaching the dog how to touch. You don't have to use this trough. You guys can use anything at home. You could use a yoga mat. You can use really anything that's different from the ground. But anyway, that's how to target. And again, this is the intro to recall. This isn't the full recall, because we're going to do a course on that. It's going to take hours and hours and hours and hours to put together. So we're going to do this a couple more times. She's out right now. Hopefully she doesn't pee in here, because then it would be a longer duration of a I guess a cleanup here. Hey. All right, good, perfect. Allie, come. Yes, good. So again, we are working inside in a non-distracted environment. So many clients of mine, so many even dog trainers will try to teach new behaviors in real life. Okay, break. And that is really, really, really difficult to do. And it's really unrealistic and even unfair to ask the dog to do that. It's just like learning how to ride a bike as you're going down a really steep hill. You should probably learn how to ride a bike before you go down the steep hill. And that's what we're doing here with Allie. So we're going to give her another break. And we're going to get into, well, Tom, what if my dog isn't listening, in a moment? And I'll show you how to set that up manually with your dog at home. And we're going to do it with Allie. So we're going to disengage from her for a moment. Again, I appreciate everybody hopping on here and hanging out with me on this beautiful Sunday here at the Upstate Canine Academy. You should have seen my wife's face when I told her I was going down to the facility to work today. It's been a long time since I've been at the facility on a Sunday. Allie, come. Yes, good. So again, guys, targeting yourself. Yes, good. Dog come. Don't do that. Targeting yourself, paying the dog in front. You can even add in a sit. Sit. Good. Yes. Okay, break. So you can combine your behaviors as well. So I'll show you how to combo the recall and sit a little bit more fluid. Allie, come. Yes, good. Sit. Yes, good. Okay, break. Now I have not given her one piece of food, which is the benefit of using the No Bad Dog Nubs treats, is because you can lure the dog and you can shape the dog, you can agitate the dog and frustrate the dog without giving them big pieces of food over and over and over again when you're training. I haven't given her one piece of food. I'm just using this treat. I'll show you guys on camera 2 over here. I'm using just one little piece of food like this, and I'm luring her around as I'm working with her. All right. So now we're going to get into how to manually start with, because a lot of people say, okay, the recall is looking good inside. Dog's doing pretty well. We're consistently recalling. When do you know to go to the next step, and how do you go to the next step? You should go to the next step in obedience in general when the dog is consistently doing the thing you want them to do over and over again successfully. That's when you know, okay, I can go to the next stop, right? It's just like anything else in life. If we're practicing something and we're killing it every time, it's time to make it harder for ourselves, okay? So what I like to do is use the motivation that you guys are using for the recall, which in this case, and for a lot of you, is going to be food. So then your trough bowl that we did the place work with, or the touch work with, you take that, and again, the beef liver treats, I'm going to keep talking about these things because this may not work if you use something else. You can take these beef liver treats, you could put them in something, smash them up, and they turn into powder, which makes it really yummy for the dog. Hopefully we don't have any resource guarding issues here. But we're going to put this out like this. Now we have all of our smashed up beef liver in here. Now this is the squirrel, the deer, the rabbit, the other dog. This is a heavy distraction. So before you guys go outside and you work around reality, how can you determine if your dog is ready for reality? And this is a great way to do it. Get your food in here, smash it up so it's powder, and now we're going to put it over here. Yeah, look what I got. And just so you guys can see, Abby, is this in frame? Huh? Okay. So here's the big thing. All right, Tom, and this is where a lot of dog owners and trainers will fail all the time, is I am predicating this dog's behavior off of positive reinforcement right now. If this dog hears her name and she turns around and comes to me, which is the cue, she's going to get paid. So she is recalling and coming and running towards motivation. I have a $100 bill over here, a $50 bill, and I'm saying, hey, look what I have. And she's turning around and she's coming. Now, a lot of that has to do with my voice inflection, it has to do with my body language, and it has to do with the fact that she's going to get paid. What if, and this is going to happen to you, no matter who you are, where you train, or what dog you have, you are going to run into a dog that has more motivation somewhere else. They're going to find something else in life that is more motivating than you, which is we're going to balance that out, which is why they sometimes will call people who hold the dog accountable if they make mistakes, balanced dog training. So we're going to let her go to the food. We have her plastic pinch collar on, which is just a star mark collar. You guys have heard me talk about it for years. If you don't know what it is, I can certainly answer questions on this after the live training. So we're going to give her a break. So let your dog go to the motivation or the food bowl. And we're going to give her a little bit of pressure if she doesn't come. Allie, come. Good. Off. Now, the most important thing, guys, is seeing that correction. I gave her a correction. So let's say we asked her to recall 5 times, and she did it every time. So she knows when I tell her to come, to come. The only thing was, guys, is that bucket of food she doesn't have to work for, and it's way more motivating than my voice right now, okay? So I corrected her with the collar and the leash. Now, because this is live, I don't know where this is gonna go, but ultimately what you want is you want the dog to go, oh, I don't wanna get off this food, or I'm going to because I don't wanna get in trouble. She recalls to the handler and then she gets paid. That's when you know the dog will recall to you regardless of what they're chasing, depending on where you're at. And we could talk about that maybe in the Q&A when we get more advanced and we talk about the dog actually being off leash and not recalling no matter what their circumstances are. But let's go over that again. Now, one trick of the trade that I have found really helpful, and this is kind of like a proprietary thing that I've done, and I haven't seen many other people do it, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bridge with her, which means from here to the motivation, I'm going to bridge. I'm not going to let her go all the way to the food and start eating it. She's smelling it. She's blowing it up with the dust. She's licking it. She's eating it. That's the hardest recall. I'm going to let her get close and recall. Allie, come. Yes, good, good. I'm not targeting tunneling back because I'll be out of frame, I think. So we're going to give her a break. Break. Allie, come. Yeah, good. Now, when she comes, when I have to correct her, you can tell the difference in my reward. She's not getting paid from food, and I'm not as excited with my voice, but I am encouraging her. You did the right thing, but it wasn't as good as the first time. Break. So I'm releasing her. Allie, come. Yes, good. Now that's when you can give her maybe a half a piece of food for the very first time. She can get some food there. Break. So now we're going to break her. So you guys can see I am building a bridge with her. So not letting her go all the way to the motivation. I'm building little stepping stones. Allie, come. Yes, good girl. Boom. She gets the whole piece of food for that. That was the cream of the crop right there. If she does it again, because the next step is at the food, then we're going to be really in business here. So if you guys understand the concepts here, hopefully you do. Hopefully I'm making sense of this. All right, break. We're going to give her a break. She's going to get into the food. Allie, come. Good. No, you guys see how neutral I am? I'm like, hey, that wasn't bad, but it's not what I wanted. Break. Break. Allie, come. Yes, good girl. Very good girl. That was very good. Oh, you're going to flop? What a golden. What a typical golden. That was exactly what I was looking for, guys. She went the absolute distance, and she recalled off of the food. We're going to do that a couple more times off to really make sure that this is making sense, and hopefully it's making sense to you guys as well. But those stepping stones are really crucial because so many people, the goal here, guys, is to make sure that when you tell your dog to come, you don't have to have any pressure. The dog just turns and comes. That's what that was. So she knows I don't want to get in trouble, and also if I do come, I get paid. That's balance. We're going to reward her, but she also has in the back of her head that there are consequences and accountability if she doesn't listen. Okay, break. Now we're gonna duration, let her get into this a little bit more. Allie, come. Yes, well done. Very good girl. Well done. Yes, good girl. And she got the whole piece of food for that. I couldn't ask for a better training partner than Allie right now. She is absolutely crushing it. This is exactly what you want to see when you're developing and introducing the recall with the dog. So that's really going to be the final step outside of then going outside and then getting other dogs involved. And the other thing that you guys can do is you could create a triangle with somebody or other people where other people will actually hold the piece of food and you'll recall the dog. So basically the other person is going to be the bowl of food and they will have the piece of food and you recall off the person. Okay, that was really, really, really good. Really good. Break. Break. All right, let's start from the top and go over this again of absolute do's and absolute don'ts. The don'ts are going to be, don't not be fun. Don't not encourage your dog to come to you. Make sure you have high reward. Make sure that you guys aren't standing like a rock wall and doing this and just standing there and going, come. They're like, no, dude, I'm playing with other dogs. I'm not coming to you. The moment the dog turns and comes to you is when you light up. I can do it without even saying something to the dog likely. Yeah, wow, yeah, oh, that's my girl. So you guys can see how much your body language plays a role in communicating with dogs. So again, don't become a rock. Don't become boring. Animate yourself. Use your tone. Use your voice inflection. Allie, come. Yes, good girl. Be prepared. Pay the dog when they get to you because your timing matters with positive reinforcement when you're capturing behaviors. Making sure that if you guys do want your dog to come to you, come. Sit. Good. Pay the dog after the sit. Off. Sit. Sit. Good. Okay. Break. And then you break the dog and release the dog after. So these are the instructions. Now, I'm super excited about this, guys, because, again, this is the very first time you guys are able to see in real life, no matter what happens, if we poop or pee on the floor, or maybe we just don't even do good at training, but it's for firsthand, you guys get to see how powerful dog training can be in real time. There is no fluff, there is lights, there is cameras, but there is no editing. It's in real time. There's no way I can fake this dog learning any of this stuff unless I taught this dog this before, which I promise you I didn't. So this is how to introduce the recall to any dog, no matter what you guys are doing. And now, again, I think some of the frequently asked questions we typically get, which we'll go over here in a minute when we take Q&A from you guys live, is going to be the dog's not food motivated, which we're going to talk about, or maybe that you guys are in a situation where the dog is too stimulated and is not confident. And if you guys do have those questions, we will answer them, of course, in the live. So that's about a little over half an hour on my end. That's about the capacity I would want any dog to work on a new behavior. So we're going to end training right there. Let's give a round of applause for Allie. She did absolutely fantastic. Good job, girl. She's a board and train here at the facility. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take 5 minutes. You're going to see a screen that says Q&A coming next. We're just going to transition into our studio so I can sit down, and we're going to take live questions from you guys, and everything is going to be recorded so you guys can see this in the future. So if you're watching this in future, hello, this was a lot of fun. And I think next week, next month, what we're going to be doing, hey, can I ask you a favor? Can you take her back to the kennel? Thank you. There you go. She did awesome. You could take that if you want. Yep. So it's her collar, it's my leash. So whenever you're done with it, you can just bring it back. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do next month, because every single month we're going to be doing these live workshops, which is really beneficial for you guys to see me work a dog in real time. And of course, you guys can ask me questions in real time as well after the fact. But I think next month we're going to be doing the introduction to the remote collar, which is a huge topic for many people, which is what I know a lot of dog trainers come to my international seminars for. So I know that that's going to be really helpful for you guys. We're going to introduce a brand new dog to the remote collar. That's not 100% yet, but we are going to be thinking about the next things, or maybe we'll have you guys vote here in the online academy. But let's take a break. Let's take 5-ish minutes. I'm going to reset. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to answer your questions live. I hope you guys enjoyed this so far, and we'll talk to you guys very soon.